January 7th, 2025. A copy of the notice was sent to the North Jersey Herald and News and the Record on the same date. Additionally, a copy of the notice was filed in the office of the Township Clerk on said date. A link and a telephone number to join the meeting virtually can be accessed on the Township website at littlefallsnj.gov. Electronic provisions have been established for the public to participate during the public comment portion of the meeting.
Mrs. Kraus, can you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Patel?
Present.
Councilmember Murphy?
Present.
Councilmember Hablitz,
Present.
Councilmember Vanchery?
Present.
Council President Scoba.
All right, first up tonight, we have some special guests here from the Clifton Health Department. So I'm going to turn this over to John Beagle, who's going to provide a report. So John, turn it to you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. My name is John Beagle. I'm the health officer for the Township of Little Falls. With me tonight is Jennifer Kidd, and she's our projects coordinator. So we're just going to go over the annual health report. It's something that we're required to do and something that we like to do with the community. So if maybe, Jen, if you could give Mr. Pace report. So I know everybody does not have one at home maybe, but basically what this talks about is our activities from the Clifton Health Department and what we have done in the Township of Little Falls. The third page is really riveting information because that's my letter. So I'm not going to read that tonight, but I know if you're really bored one night, you could read it and you'll get a lot of information out of there. And then we have on page 8 is, what does the health department do? I think some people have an idea of the health department maybe just does food inspections, but we do so much more than that. Some of the things that we do as far as animal control with animal bites, rabies control, bloodborne pathogen, communicable disease investigation, emergency response, et cetera, et cetera. So recreational bathing. So with the recreational bathing, we go to inspect at least once a year a public bathing facility. And every week we have to receive a report from the lab, making sure that the water is safe to swim. And, that's something a lot of people don't realize that we do. Okay. So I'll have Jennifer talk about something and then I'll just finish what I'm going to do and then I'll go to Jennifer. So we provide animal control for the Township of Little Falls. This is a 24/7 operation, never a day off, never an hour off. We work very closely with our police department, whether it be a response to a dog bite, loose animal. We had a bald eagle actually last year in the township, and our animal control worked with the police. We did catch it. So those are just some of the things that we do to respond. But again, we are 24/7. Anytime the police will call us, we respond last year we had 95 calls to Little Falls. We have a animal shelter. If anybody ever wants to come see our animal shelter, it's on the City of Clifton City Hall property, 900 Clifton Avenue. We house dogs, cats, and any other animals that we do get. We've had an alligator, snakes, all these funky things, but I don't like snakes. So animal control, and when we work with a group called Friends of the Shelter. Friends of the Shelter is a volunteer group that adopts our animals out. And they do a background check to make sure that we just don't adopt anyone. We want to make sure we have one adoption and that's a forever home for those animals. So we're very, very successful with placing animals pretty much throughout the year. We also have the environmental division. So as far as food inspections, public pools, like I said, any type of tattoo parlors, we do all that. And last year, we did over 125 inspections. That also includes the Montclair State food eateries that are in Little Falls, which that's majority of the food establishments in Little Falls. So we do that as well. And then lastly, what I'll talk about is our nursing division, which the nursing division is what they do is any type of communicable disease investigation. I mean, we knew the popular one as far as COVID, but we do numerous communicable diseases. We receive lab reports. We deal with the doctors. We contact the patient. Sometimes we're the first one to contact the patient saying they have something. And we tried to trace back where, they did get that communicable disease, and then we'll try to make a safe environment for everyone. Our nurses also do communicable audits at the schools to make sure that everyone is in compliance. So sometimes the school might be in 100% compliance. That doesn't mean everyone has a vaccine. That means people have vaccines, and also a release if it is a religious exemption for the vaccine. So I know rabies has been in the limelight. We have very strict policy on what we do with if someone is exposed to someone. We work with the state, and our nurses will be in contact with that individual every day. And if we had to, we would have to go to the house. At this time, I'm going to bring Jennifer Kidd up to talk about some of the other programs that we do. I just want to thank Councilwoman Patel for heading up our Health Advisory Committee. We started that, I guess, the end of last year or this year we really started. So we meet every 2 months, and myself and somebody from my staff will usually come up and we'll discuss with our committee some of the events. I'd also like to thank John Pace for helping us with our senior outreach. We have doubled and tripled the amount of people that we have seen, so it's a really good thing. So thank you to everybody, Mayor and Council also, and Vince, but thank you everybody for helping us. Jennifer.
Is that one on?
I'm not sure. Oh,
There,
oh,
there you go.
okay,
There you go.
great. Good evening. As John said, my name is Jennifer Kidd. I'm the project coordinator at the Clifton Health Department. And I'm just going to talk about some special projects that I help to oversee at the health department. The first being our new podcast that we have, Clifton Health on Air. It's on page 10 of the annual report. We started this initiative last year. We were trying to look for more innovative ways to educate the public about public health. We actually interviewed Mayor Damiano last year, and we're excited because we were able to publish over 30 separate episodes of our podcast. So if you get a chance, you can check us out. We're on all of the streaming services. And if you'd ever like to be on our podcast, we would love to have you. Also, accreditation is a big part of what we do at the Clifton Health Department. We became nationally accredited in November of 2023. We're very proud of that designation. It's a pretty prestigious designation. We're the 6th local health department in the state of New Jersey to become nationally accredited. And it just shows that we are not just meeting standards that are set, but we're really setting like the gold standard for public health in the nation. So we actively work on accreditation really on a daily basis. We have to submit annual reports to the Public Health Accrediting Board, and we will be applying for reaccreditation in 2028. Also, we wanted to bring your attention to what our Health Education Division does, because this group of young women is very active in the Township of Little Falls. If you turn to page 20, that gives you a bit of an overview of what we provide in the Health Education Division. And like John said, we've been very active at the Civic Center. Yes, so thank you to Councilwoman Patel and John for getting us into the center these last couple of years. We have a lot of fun with your seniors. And you can see, if you look on page 22 of the annual report, just some of our highlights that we were able to accomplish here in the Township of Little Falls. We provide homebound flu shots to your residents, and we were able to do that this past year. We continue to distribute COVID-19 test kits throughout the community. We were at the St. Patrick's Day party at the Civic Center this past year, and we'll be at your party this coming Friday, I believe, is your spring fling. You can look at some pictures on page 23 of the report where we helped put together a COVID-19 memorial. in May, and we're going to be doing that again for you this year. In a few weeks, actually. We're at your local community events like Oktoberfest and your street fair. And we also were very busy providing a couple of different presentations to your students in town. We do the Don't Get Vaped In program to help prevent children from picking up the dangerous habit of vaping. And we also were able to start a mindfulness program with the third graders. We were able to reach all of the third graders in the Township of Little Falls with our Mindful Monday. Oh, no, actually, I think we do Wellness Wednesdays for Little Falls. We do Mondays in Clifton. And we got some really great feedback on the mindfulness program or our Wellness Wednesday programs here in town. If you go to page 21, that shows you about our social media outreach that we've been doing. Another thing that we did this past year, which was new, is we established a Facebook and Instagram page for the Township of Little Falls. So if you don't follow us, make sure you're following us on those both of those platforms because it's pretty active. We definitely are posting to both Facebook and Instagram on a regular basis for Little Falls. And then lastly, we just wanted to bring your attention to our social services division, which is on page 27. This is a brand new division that we have in the city that we have started offering to the Township of Little Falls as well. After COVID-19, we were able to make the case for establishing a social services division within the health department. We've been working closely with the United Methodist Church. We do some outreach work and also working to put together hygiene kits and food packages for families that are in need. We've been working very closely with the Banyan School. We've been doing a lot of programming with them, and actually they come to, some of the students come to the health department every Monday morning, and they do some administrative work with our administrative division, and it's been a really great partnership with them. And we also have brought the mindfulness program to Banyan as well. And I mentioned the Mindfulness for Kids program, and that we were able to reach 100. Oh, and we also did your fourth grade. So we did 105 third grade students and 100 fourth grade students last April and May. So we reached over 200 children with that program. Does anybody have any questions for John or I?
Some easy questions, maybe?
Is anybody?
I do have to say, a few weeks ago, we were not in such a good mood because we received information that our funding was cut federally. And that would have meant that we would lose 6 people, really 6 quality people. Our health education division would have really been impacted. Our social services would have been impacted. So we went to the city council in Clifton and mayor and asked them if they could budget for those positions. And the community came out in droves, and the love and support was great. And therefore that they put it on the budget. So I have to give kudos to our mayor and council for that.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Beagle or Mrs. Kidd? Mayor?
I don't have so much a question as I do a comment or just a debt of gratitude. We want to thank you for the services that you provide to our residents here in Little Falls. You do an outstanding job. You're extremely responsive. The entire department is an asset to this town, and I just want to thank you for everything that you do day in and day out for all of our residents here in Little Falls.
It's our pleasure, really. We met some really great people, and we help people along the way, and that's what it's all about. So thank you, Mayor.
Councilwoman Patel, do you have anything? You want to-
No, I ditto the mayor's remarks. It's been a pleasure working with John and the entire team. I'm really excited about what we've been able to bring to Little Falls and continue to look forward to the future and working together and bringing even more things.
I do want to acknowledge the health department because last month for my job, I was at an event that the Clifton Health Department was at. The Boys and Girls Club of Clifton actually honored the health department for all their work. And so Mr. Beagle and his team was recognized. And I have to say the crowd gave him a standing ovation because they really were grateful for the work that was done. And Mr. Beagle brought up the fact that the budget was cut and how the team fought to make sure that his entire staff that was there that night was able to continue the work that they're doing. So we definitely do appreciate the work that you're doing and taking the time, of course, tonight to be here for us
Thank you.
as well.
Appreciate it.
Councilman Murphy?
They covered mostly everything, but I just want to mirror some of that as well. I know we just did our fire department bloodborne pathogens training with the health education department. And thankfully, the mayor and council over in Clifton were able to keep them because they do a fantastic job. And the whole department really loves all the educators. We have some of the same ones every year. So it really is nice to see all of them and the
We
work you
throw
guys do.
candy at you.
They throw candy at us. That's why we
More
come back, right?
importantly.
Even though it's mandatory, it's really
Yeah.
the candy of it. But no, I just wanted to thank you and your team. They really do a
Thank
great job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, we look forward to the next report. So thank you for being here tonight.
Okay, and Councilwoman Patel, you're going to mention the upcoming events and everything?
Yes, I will.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
So, Mrs. Kraus, with the minutes, we're going to split them, okay? So can I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from March 24th?
So move.
Second. What?
You were here for that.
No,
Okay,
I-
so yes.
No, no,
So-
I can.
All right, motion by Councilwoman Habelis, second by Councilwoman Patel. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Patel,
Abstain.
Councilmember Murphy,
Abstain.
Councilmember Hablitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Yes. Okay, so now we're going to do the second one. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from April 14th, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Councilman Murphy, seconded by Councilwoman Hablitz. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy.
Yes.
Councilmember Hablitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Yes. Okay, so Mayor, your report, please.
Yeah, I have a fairly brief report this evening. Two things that I have been reporting on for quite some time. I'll do it again tonight. I'll be short on the first because I know I'm sure you'll have a few words to say. But the light at the intersection of Francisco Ave and Cedar Grove Road is finally operational. We got through our 1 week period of the flashing light and have now been with a regular light cycle for almost the past week now. I can tell you, I use that intersection more now than I have in the past because I feel a lot more comfortable going through it. I had kind of two routes to get to my office and now they both feel exceptionally safe with that light now being added at that intersection. So kudos to everyone who got that done, particularly you, Councilman Vanchery, who spent a lot of time, sent a lot of emails, and certainly went through a lot of grief to get that operational. So thank you for that. My only other update is the parking lot in the middle of town, the former Stanley Street parking lot behind PNC Bank. Unfortunately, we are continuing to hit the same roadblocks with Verizon that we have been. We have the high voltage wires. PSE&G has completed their portion of the project. We are still waiting for Verizon to move the low voltage wires over to the new poles. Once that happens, we'll finally be able to remove the poles. We'll then be able to pave the top coat on the lot and actually have it striped. It is striped now, but with the formal striping that will be there, without the big boxes around the spots that are dangerous because there's poles or elevated manhole covers or catch basins. So fingers crossed, we'll get that done within the next couple of months. But Verizon has not only been slow to respond to the site, they've been exceptionally slow in responding to emails. So we continue to plug along. We continue to remind them regularly. Unfortunately, it seems to no avail, but we'll continue to push through to get that completed, hopefully in less years than it took for the traffic light. But at this rate, I don't know, there's a lot to be desired with how responsive Verizon has been. That's all that I have, unless there's any questions from the council that I can answer.
Any questions from the council for the mayor?
No.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Council President's not here tonight, but he did want me to remind everyone that the spring fling is coming up on Friday, May 2nd from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Little Falls Civic Center. Little Falls residents are free, non-residents it's $20. So if anyone is interested, please reach out to Mr. Pace over at the Civic Center. So enjoy that. And the other thing too is now that we're getting closer to May, the veterans banners are going to go back up. So I know we're looking forward to that as well as we get closer to Memorial Day. So look for that on the street soon from our DPW department. All right, so let's turn to council member reports. Councilwoman Patel, you want to start us off?
Yes, thank you. Councilman Vanchery. I just really do want to thank the Health Department again. It really has been a pleasure working with them. They do bring so much to Little Falls, as I will list all of the things that are upcoming. On Wednesday, April 30th, between 5 and 7 p.m. here at the DPW, Clifton Health Department is holding their rabies clinic for dogs and cats. So you just have to walk in. There's no appointment required. On May 16th at 9:30 a.m., we will do now our second annual COVID-19 memorial. That's going to take place at Wilmore Park. They're holding an autism awareness kind of festival on Saturday, May 10th, 2025, from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Clifton Fire Station 5 on 51 Brighton Road. There's going to be activities and all the trucks will be out there for the children. They're holding a paint and sip event on Thursday, May 22nd, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the Little Falls Civic Center. You're gonna be able to enjoy a short presentation on skin and sun safety and then enjoy mocktails while you get to paint. If anyone is interested in attending, you do have to reserve your spot. You can contact Ashley Peralta at 201-739-0665 or contact me and I can take care of that for you. And then finally, the Public Health Committee is going to meet on May 14th at 6:30 p.m. right here in Town Hall. That is all I have.
Councilwoman Patel, do you also want to check with the health department or even your health committee? May 23rd, we have the concert in the park and we have tables set up. So if anybody's interested, just let us know because it'd be
Yes.
great if, the committee or the health department can attend.
Absolutely.
Okay, Councilwoman Hablitz?
Thank you, Councilman Vanchery. Two library updates of new things that are coming to the library. There will be a style and fashion of Audrey Hepburn on the 4th at 1 p.m. Join Robbie Amadeo as he takes us through the looks and fashion and personal style of Audrey Hepburn. Register at the library's website if you'd like to join that. Also on Wednesday, April 30th at 11 a.m., there will be another edition of the Royal Tea Party Club, talking about all things royal. Again, please register at the website if you'd like to attend. As per usual, you can see all of the great events that are upcoming at the library on their website and on their social media pages. I would like to thank the Little Falls Girl Scouts and our Shade Tree Commission for planting our annual Arbor Day tree at Wilmore Park. That took place Friday night at 5:30. This year's tree was planted in honor of Phil Simone, our former DPW superintendent. Thank you to our DPW for their assistance with planting the tree, and thank you to our police officers and Phil's family for attending. Lastly, less than 3 weeks from now, we have our farmers market returning. We have some great returning vendors, as well as some new that will surely be favorites very soon. Opening day is May 19th at 9 a.m. Right here in our municipal lot. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hablitz. Councilman Murphy?
Thank you, Councilman. Short and sweet tonight, we have a Domestic Violence Awareness Committee meeting next Tuesday, May 6th at 7 p.m. in the upstairs room of Town Hall. That's all I have, Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman. All right, I have some updates too. I'm going to go through real fast. Don't worry, I'll try to keep this moving. As the mayor said, finally, with the traffic light is finally up and running. After our last meeting, I got a phone call the next day to basically say they were moving ahead with it. So to finally see that happen, I really am glad because it was a long process, like the mayor alluded to. I also want to thank the Little Falls Police Department because they did a lot of legwork too behind the scenes with all the documentation and paperwork that had to go to the county and so many others throughout this journey. But it did finally happen, and hopefully people realize, they're going to make that intersection a lot more safer. The other thing too, I did want to mention is we're in the process, as we've put on social media, the speed limit on 3 particular roads, Ridge, Stevens, as well as Main and Long Hill, are changing from 35 miles per hour to 25 mile per hour. This was something we did on our end with an ordinance, and then the county also approved it on their side. We are just waiting for the signage to come in so that we can make all the necessary changes. And then more communications are going to go out along with coordinating with the Little Falls Police Department. I do want to emphasize, because it's always interesting when you see on social media all the traffic experts that are complaining about how going from 25, oh, that can't happen. Everybody's going to drive fast. But just want to mention something so that to put in perspective when people complain about 35 to 25. You know, a pedestrian has, just so you know, and these are all documents that you can find, AAA, NIH, and so many others. Pedestrian has roughly a 10% chance of serious or fatal injuries when the vehicle is going at 25 mile per hour. However, when it's 35, that risk increases by 30%. So by us slowing down the traffic, we're making it safer, not only for the motorists, but also more importantly, our pedestrians as well that are on our streets. So, you know, please be mindful of these changes, and there's going to be enough notification to make sure now all our county roads are at 25 miles per hour. Lastly, I did want to mention, as I alluded to a few minutes ago with Councilwoman Patel, May 23rd is our annual concert in the park. It starts at 6 p.m. and it'll run till about 9. We have 2 bands already signed up, as well as about 3 food trucks, working on a 4th. And then there's also an opportunity for local organizations or businesses that anyone wants to have a table at the event. So I'm working through that right now, looking to send out the communication by the end of the week so that we can recruit some more attendees for this event. And then the next day on May 24th is our annual Memorial Day Parade. Started the process as well of confirming the participants this year, working on some bands and some others. And at some point next month as well, I'm going to set up some time to connect with the fire department, the police department, DPW, and the rec center, just to outline all the plans for that day so that we're coordinated. Mayor, I want to turn it back over to you because I believe you had a proclamation you were going to read for Arbor Day.
Thank you, Councilman. I do indeed. We have a proclamation and all my excitement about the traffic light finally being on. I skipped right over reading the proclamation. But this past Friday, April 25th, was Arbor Day. And as you'd indicated, we planted a tree in honor of Phil Simone with the assistance of our Girl Scouts in town. And I'd like to read a proclamation in honor of Arbor Day. And it reads, whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, James Belford Damiano, Mayor of the Township of Little Falls, do hereby proclaim April 25th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the Township of Little Falls, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And I further urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations.
Thanks, Mayor. So at this time, I'm going to ask for Mr. Leonard Chavinsky to come up. We're going to have a discussion about the tree removal and forest management ordinance that's in process. If you could just say your name for the record, if you don't mind.
This evening, thank you, Mayor and Council, for the opportunity to speak. First, I'd like to just mention thank you, Mayor, for the proclamation. It was great. Echoed 1,000 times over this week. I heard it over and over. It's great action. We're going to speak about a few things. One is we're going to talk about the MS4 tree removal replacement ordinance that was mandated by the New Jersey Department of Environment.
Yeah, we're just
Hey,
gonna
just hold
switch
on
the
one
mics.
sec.
Yeah, it sounds like it's not coming through. Want to just push that up?
A little better?
There you
Yeah.
go. That's
All
it.
right, good. Thank you. So we'll start off by talking about the MS4 tree removal replacement ordinance, which was mandated by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. This deals with our process of stormwater management. And so this is a mandated ordinance that requires permitting for the removal and replacement of trees within the township of Little Falls. It's mandated across all communities and all municipalities and boroughs in the state of New Jersey. And we have been working with the Township Shade Tree Commission and Council President Scoba and Councilwoman Hablitz to kind of make some sense out of all this and where we're going to put it in place. It is continually moving forward. We have a proposed draft that will be reviewed by the council members, I think, shortly. If there's any questions about that, you can ask again. But again, this was a mandated ordinance that was passed by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. Anyone who receives stormwater management dollars has to abide by this regulation. So just be aware of that. The next part of this is their ordinance, which actually put in a fee-based process for permitting. And that was something that we drafted through. And again, there'll be some discussion as to the costs and fees involved with that. And again, that should be, in my recommendation, placed under the Chapter 218 Stormwater Management Ordinance. So that was my recommendation to the township. We also have a shade tree ordinance that we are changing, which is our trees. There's just a draft. There's minor changes that are going on with that. It relates back to connecting it to Chapter 218 of the Stormwater Management Plan. Next, we're going to speak about the fact that in 2024, with Council President Scoba and Councilwoman Hablitz, we were able to finish up our annual report for 2024 for the shade tree requirements for the state of New Jersey for community forestry. What happened is we were able to meet that by receiving our community's what's called continuing education units. They were provided through the DPW and myself and another consultant that works with my company. In terms of New Jersey Urban and Community Forestry, there is a grant that is available. There's actually two, which the community has the opportunity to take advantage of. There is a community forestry management plan that has to be rewritten. That's coming up in 2025. It has to be finished by December 2025. That will include, it's in previous years, it has been in a 5-year rotation. So last year we had it done was 2019. Everyone was given a substantial option to move forward without having any issues with COVID. So it was extended in 2025 as the new deadline. There is a $5,000 grant available to pay for that. And we have connected with Millennium Associates, which is the group that does our consulting for grant writing. So I've been speaking with Stephen Shaheen, who is the representative in terms of applying for those dollars. Tied to this community forestry management plan is also what's called a inventory, and a tree inventory in the town of Little Falls would basically calculate all the trees that are here within public right-of-ways, give their condition, their rating, and then some information regarding accessible planting sites and so forth and so on. That would also be given a grant of about $15,000. We're not sure exactly where that's going to come out yet, but that funding would be extremely helpful in supporting that other part of the contract, which again is a full municipal tree inventory. Okay. And on that note, I think we have just one last thing to mention, and that is in current situation, the township has been working with the Shade Tree Commission as they did celebrate Arbor Day on Friday, the 24th, 25th. Thank you, Mayor. Friday, the 25th, to honor Phil Simone. And as the Shade Tree has been active again, it's great to see that happening. And thank you, the council and mayor, for their support on that. And we continue to look forward to putting this management plan in place. Just so you understand, the reason for the management plan is it provides liability for anyone who's involved in overseeing it as a volunteer or a paid employee within the community. There's a liability umbrella that substantially supports them in case anything should happen as a injury or damage from a sidewalk trip or fall, or from a tree that fell or damaged personal property or an individual within the community. So that's part of the umbrella that gets covered under this plan. That's about all I have for you.
Thank you, Mr. Shavinsky. Does anyone have any questions? Councilwoman Havelitz, did you want to touch on anything on your end?
I just wanted to say thank you for all the work that you have been doing for the township. I know that, takes time to do this whole plan, and we really are grateful to have you. And I also wanted to announce that while we were talking about Arbor Day and all the things that we've done through the community forestry management, we were able to get back our Tree City designation. So we are just waiting for the placards, and we will be bringing that up in front of the council at that time to place the placards.
Yes, that
Thank
was, as Councilwoman Havlet said, that was part of this accreditation report that we did in 2024. We were able to regain our status as a Tree City USA.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And just as I heard about the street light and I heard about the mayor with Verizon, it's the same thing when we work with the state on different levels of activities with the trees. So we're all in the same boat, but we're all moving forward and we're tenacious.
Thank you. Look forward
Thank
to
you.
seeing this ordinance. Appreciate your time.
Have a
Thank you.
great evening.
Thank you. too.
Mr. Wenzel, anything on your end?
Just very quickly, as you all have, may have seen, with the affordable housing, litigation that's ongoing, the group has now filed a federal complaint, with regard to, the obligations. The hope there is that in bringing those claims into the federal court, that there would be a more receptive ear at that level, which would not be constrained as much as the state court level judges are. The litigation, as you may recall, at the state level has been relatively unsuccessful to date to stop or curtail the obligations under the Fair Housing Act amendments. However, the belief is that a lot of those decisions were rendered in accordance with an application of New Jersey court rules and court mandates, which the federal courts are not hamstrung by. So the hope is that there would be, once again, a more receptive ear. That complaint's recently been filed. And as time goes on, I will keep the mayor and council updated. Nevertheless, even though that litigation continues to go on with regard to the Fair Housing Act and its obligations for this round, nevertheless, the township has to do its due diligence as part of the act as it currently exists. So the township, as you may recall, back in January, you passed a resolution with regard to the affordable housing numbers for the township, based upon Mr. Barry's report as township planner, to reduce the obligation from the DCA number down to a number based upon actual available land down to 174. That number was then brought before what's known as the program, which is the mediation / arbitration arm of the courts hearing these affordable housing numbers. That matter was heard, and the mediator / arbitrator, former Judge Brogan, wholeheartedly, hands down, I think this is one of the best decisions I've ever gotten from Judge Brogan. That and where to go get a cup of coffee in Clifton. That he wholeheartedly agreed with our position. The Builders Association attempted to scuttle our a very good faith position in reducing those numbers. Judge Brogan didn't buy it. The special adjudicator, Mr. Burgess, didn't buy it. And so we now have an order that's now been approved by Judge Del Sardo. This is how crazy this is. It goes to former Judge Brogan to then to Judge Del Sardo, who is now given his seal of approval on the 174 number. However, that's not the end of the matter. There's more. It's like a late night commercial, except you're not buying a rotisserie chicken maker. We now move into the next phase, which is the housing plan phase. And this is where, once again, Mr. Barry, township planner, is working very diligently to review the township's actual vacant land, to get what's known as a vacant land adjustment. In essence, saying that this is not like as if you were in Western New Jersey, where there's acres and acres of available open land. Much of Little Falls has been developed, and therefore there is limited vacant land for development to then adjust those numbers and then to deal with how we can properly apply those numbers for the township. That's still in the to be determined phase that will be coming up. So ultimately, my point to all of you is that it's a win. I don't want to say it's a win for the township. It's really not. What it is reality. So that we've taken the DCA number, which was clearly not reality, and we brought this a little closer to reality. And now in this next phase, in terms of the housing plan, we then bring it more into the realm of reality and application. That's to be handled in the next couple of months. So sometime end of May, beginning of June, Mayor, is that what we had talked about? A housing plan will be presented. It has to be presented to the planning board and it presented to the council for final approval. So that's going to be something coming up on your agenda.
Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman.
Mayor, go ahead.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it was an extremely disheartening process to go through in the sense that we got word ahead of our hearing with the Builders Association that what they had been doing was offering a blanket, I think it was 4% reduction to municipalities, finding that to be a reasonable reduction in what municipalities were asking. And sure enough, we showed up to the hearing and their offer was a 4% reduction in our 285 number. And the fact that they were willing to take such a blanket approach across the entire state or any municipality in which they came and intervened to see this number stay where it was, really just went to show me that they were not really looking for a fair number from each municipality because they didn't take into consideration any of the factors that Little Falls is dealing with versus any other municipality that they may have intervened in and we're looking to, reduce this or prevent people from reducing their number. And it was extremely frustrating. And I almost laughed out of the gate when they said, well, we're willing to consider a 4% reduction. I went, shocker. That's what we had heard you'd do. And sure enough, I think I did laugh. And again, it just really goes to show that they're not really in it for the fairness of the municipality, and they're not looking at the factors that may impact each municipality individually. They're more concerned with bulking these numbers up to, frankly, unreasonable figures, because even the 174, while closer to reality, as you indicated, is still quite a stretch for us to get there and accomplish that, no matter how diligent we may be in the future. So a little bit frustrating that was the approach that they had taken, but certainly a thank you to council and John Barry for their work in having this number reduced, at least out of the gate. Again, not over, but certainly a great first step.
It's progress. Keep us posted, please, Counselor. All right, can I have a motion and a second to open the meeting to public for agenda items only?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman
Second.
Patel, seconded by Councilwoman Havelitz. This is a voice vote only, so all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Mrs. Kraus, can you read the public comment, please?
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so through the Council President. It is preferred if you give your name and address for the record. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, you may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the Council President. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the Council President will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Thank you. The floor is open. Seeing no one on the chat or in the chambers, can I have a motion and a second to close the public comment?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy, seconded by Councilwoman Patel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda at this time?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy, seconded by Councilwoman Havelitz. This is a roll call. All those in favor, aye. right? Oh, I'm sorry. No, I did it wrong. There's a roll call.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's a roll call. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry. Mrs. Kraus, can you read the roll?
Councilmember Patel?
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Havletts?
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery?
Yes. I messed up on that one. I apologize.
Don't worry, we're keeping it right.
I know. Thank you. I'm sure he's watching at home. Can I have a motion and a second to open the meeting for public comment for general matters only?
So
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Patel, seconded by Councilman Murphy. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mrs. Kraus, read the public comment, please.
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so through the Council President. It is preferred if you give your name and address for the record. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, you may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the Council President. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the Council President will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
The floor is open. If anyone at the chambers or on the chat would like to come forward with a question. Seeing no one, can I have a motion and a second to close the public comment?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Hablitz.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Patel. This is a voice vote. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion and a second to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Patel, second by Councilwoman Hablitz. This is a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.